Sziastok! Welcome to this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. This shorter episode, or Kicsi Pod, Kicsi meaning small, is a series within our season where we discuss smaller topics in between some of our longer interview episodes. So let's get started with our episode 6 Kicsi Pod, featuring my guest, Gabi Vajtay, the director of the Reconnect Hungary Birthright Program. And she is here to tell you all of the official information you need to know about applying for the Reconnect program. Please join me in welcoming Gabi Vajtay to the Hungarian Heritage Podcast today. She is the director of Reconnect Hungary, and she is here to tell us all about the Reconnect Hungary Birthright Program, as well as some of the other programs that Reconnect offers. Welcome, Gabi. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast.
Thank you, Christine. I love this idea. It was such a great idea on your part, and I love your voice on these podcasts. It's really fantastic.
Thanks so much for saying that. I appreciate that. And thanks so much for being here and taking the time out of your day. So let's get started, because this is a Kicsi Pod. We're, trying to give all of the listeners as much information as we can about Reconnect Hungary. Let's just start from the beginning. Give us a little bit about what Reconnect Hungary is and their mission, and then tell us how people can apply.
Our very first program was held in 2012. It's based on the same concept as the Israeli Birthright Program, the Taglit. Several countries have this type of program, but we are a small country, and we're so very proud that we've been able to do this for so many years. So what we do is we advertise the program, and we're looking for people that have Hungarian roots, young adults that have Hungarian roots and that are interested in being Hungarian here, knowing more about Hungary. We have about 250 alum right now, who some are very, very involved. Some are just a bit involved, but we call it the Reconnect Hungary family, because I really feel like I can call any of them to say, let's do this or let's do that, and they'll be game. So as I said, it is for young adults. It used to be 18 to 28. This year, we raised the age limit, I guess, from 21 to 28, because I felt that, which doesn't mean that 18-year-olds are not mature. There are some that are very mature, but we thought that, the more mature, the more involved, the more time we'll have with them before and after. For example, so once we select the group, and we take between 15 and 25 participants that we interview ahead of time. And then once we have our group together, we prep them. So we'll have the group together by the end of the month, which is just a couple of days. So if you're interested, you do have time.
Absolutely.
To apply. The deadline is January 31st this year. And then we'll have our group together by then. We'll interview everyone. We'll make our selections within a week, and then we'll get going right away. We'll have lectures about Trianon. We'll have lectures about 20th century history. We'll have we'll send out little questionnaires or things about culture that are not hard but interesting. But we do have and fun. But we do hope that people participate, not hope, we expect everyone to participate before we take off. This year, we're taking off June 23rd to Hungary together as a group. So no matter where you're from in the United States or Canada, we all meet in New York on the 23rd at the Hungarian Consulate on the east side of New York, 52nd Street, which is an absolutely beautiful building. So we'll have an orientation there. And then from there, together, we'll go out to JFK Airport, travel overseas, and spend 2 weeks together. And I feel as we have had wonderful people in the past, and I really look forward to getting this year's group together.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I know I did an episode with one of the participants, which just aired the other day. And I love that you do a lot of pre-trip learning, essentially, and just communicating, because that must make people feel very comfortable when they finally get to, leaving their trip, and they feel like they know a little bit more about the trip. So it's not just like an information overload when you get to Hungary, when you take off. Like
Yeah,
you're coming with some pre-knowledge, which is great.
absolutely. And, that is a point because and we like to stress this, that this is not like like a travel agency trip, which you can do with anyone. We really take the time to have special programs, and we try to tailor it to our group as well. Meaning, if someone is interested in something in particular, we'll try to make that happen. And then there too, we'll have, I don't want to say we're constantly having lectures because that's not at all the situation, but we'll have an expert come in and talk about the Roma population.
Hmm.
And, it's just a variety of different things. And of course, we're seeing and doing all day long culture, dance, I feel like a good combination. And then we'll head outside of the city. We always go to Balaton because how can you
How can
go
you
to Hungary
not?
and not go to the Balaton?
Especially in the summer.
Um,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful all year round, but especially in the summer.
so we definitely do Balaton, and we'll do a different city as well. This year we haven't decided. Last year we went to Veszprém, which was the cultural city of Europe the year before. So we did do it both years. This year we're leaning. I'm not going to say what,
Ooh,
but
you don't want
anyway,
to
it's
spill
going
the
to be really
beans.
good. All of them are. So we go outside of Budapest, explore that area, and then go back. Something special that we do, and we also prep for, is the free weekend that we have in the middle of the 2 weeks is designated for the participants to visit their families. So we expect them to do some research ahead of time. And in the past, we've had amazing connection stories. When we do a longer
Yeah,
cast, I can go
of
through some of them
course.
that are like crazy. But some of them don't speak. Most of our kids don't speak Hungarian,
Right.
and then some of the relatives don't speak English. So that's always very interesting and funny and heartwarming at the same time.
Yeah.
But whether they're small towns or larger cities, that's what they do on that particular weekend. And then we hope that the
Yeah.
connection stays.
Well, I guess, that's the title of your program, Reconnect. So you're reconnecting with not only, the country of Hungary and the culture and the food and all the experiences that you're providing for the participants, but also to reconnect with their families if that's possible. So what does someone do if they don't have family that they can contact for that free weekend? What are some of the things that you suggest for someone such as that?
That has happened in the past where they don't have, even if they don't have live family, we recommend going anyway. Just, talk to neighbors, just, feel the vibes
Sure.
of wherever it's at.
Hmm.
But and most of the time when that doesn't work out, it's because it's too far away.
Mm,
Some of the relatives are in areas that are now Romania, Transylvania,
right.
that was
Sure.
Transylvania, some in Slovakia, some in the Ukraine, which we're not going to obviously do, right now. But that's usually the reason. And in that case, they'll stay. They can choose, what they'd like to do. Some of them stay in Budapest, and some of them will visit a town that of course, there are many towns and cities that we won't get to visit, but something that interests them. So they'll use that time for an opportunity like that.
Well, that's great. So at least no one feels left out if they haven't been able to contact their family because, like you said, sometimes they're not within the borders of Hungary anymore, or they're just so distantly related. Because I know someone had told me that, most of their family had moved to the US or to other parts of, the world, so they didn't really have that connection directly in Hungary. So,
What's really fun is we've had participants that become friendly there
mhm.
on the trip, and then one will take the other with them to their family.
Oh, that's a great opportunity
Yeah.
as well. Yes. So, the episode that I aired with Stephen Delina, which is the episode right before this, he really was singing the praises about all the opportunities that Reconnect offered on the trip, from food to the scavenger hunt, how it starts out with a scavenger hunt and the places that you went to eat and like the cafes and just all that. And mainly the friendships as well. These are lifelong friends that you have the opportunity to make on this Reconnect Hungary trip. So if you're interested, if you're out there and you're interested and you live in Canada or the US, time is ticking. Definitely get your application in, and they can apply right through the website. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty straightforward application. The only thing is we're looking for recommendation letters,
Mm-hmm.
and a video, and so you have to invest a little bit of time, but I think it's still very doable in 3-4 days.
Oh,
So
absolutely, for sure.
yeah. And I just wanted to mention quickly that another topic that we take very seriously is human rights, because, well, not just because, but we are a program that works under the organization called Hungarian Human Rights Foundation, which
Yes.
has existed since 1976. So one of the prepping programs that we have will be about Hungarian human rights, which is very interesting. Last year, we went to Lendva, which is a community, a pretty dense Hungarian community outside of Hungary, of course, and the struggles they have to remain Hungarian and be Hungarian in their community, which I would also like to talk more about sometime when we have more time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's an entire podcast in and of itself, that topic. So,
Just
absolutely.
one more quick thing regarding programs
Yeah.
is the deadline is not for a while, but we also have the Reconnect Transylvania program, which is outstanding. I can't say enough good about it, and we welcome you or new interested people to reach out to people that have been in the past to have an idea of what this trip is about. But that too, if you get a chance to get on the website, take a look at the Reconnect Transylvania.
Yeah, absolutely. When is the deadline for that?
Not for another month or so.
Okay. Okay. So there's time to consider that as well.
Yes.
Um, I've been to Transylvania and it's beautiful, and I'm excited to hear more about that at another time. You do offer some other programs. So do you want to quickly mention those for those people who are listening?
Yeah, so I talked about the Reconnect Hungary 18, which was 18, now it's 21 to 28.
Right?
And the reason we distinguish the age group, and then of course, and then we have one 29 and older, and we
Right.
like to say 59-ish is kind of the deadline, because it's very energetic, and we want to make sure
Sure.
everyone, not that older people can't, but and they're always, we can always talk about
Of
that
course.
end
Of
of
course.
the cutoff. Anyway, so the difference between the two is that we have a larger scholarship, or the copay is less for the 21 to 28 group,
Right.
for many reasons, because we are a private public organization. So we're hustling to get donations to make all this stuff happen. And the 29 plus will pay not not what it would cost for one person to go on this trip, much less, but a little bit more than the 21 to 28-year-old group. So
Well, that makes sense
well,
because you would hope that in the 29 plus group, we're more established adults, so, with jobs and such. Whereas, the 21 to 28, not that you don't have jobs, they do, but they're starting out in life. So it's great that you
yeah.
have a larger scholarship for that group.
Yeah, and so I mean, sometimes we'll be doing, or a lot of times we'll be doing the same thing, but I really enjoy the older. Well, I enjoy both the groups all the time,
Of
but the older
course.
one I think is really I mean, at that point they're really interested in
Sure.
getting the ball rolling and doing all the Hungarian stuff,
Yeah.
which I love.
Well, they're looking at it through a different lens because they've had a little bit more life experience. Maybe they've done a little bit more of genealogy research, at our ages. So I imagine they're very similar trips, but yet through a different lens, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
you mentioned donations. So tell us quickly if somebody would like to donate to Reconnect Hungary to help out this program, to help the 21 through 28-year-olds and of course the 29 plus. How can they do that?
Oh, you can go on our website. It's really easy. We try to make it as easy as possible, because, just like with, I mean, like your
Yeah.
household stuff, there are a million things that, our advertising, our IT stuff, our stuff that we do there. It's there's a lot involved, so we're appreciative of any small or large donation. And if you want to know more about where the money goes or the program, feel free to contact me on the website, or you'll find my email, you'll find my phone number there. Any of those things work. Definitely happy to chat about that anytime.
Well, that's great. I'll definitely leave the link to the website in the show notes. So from that link, they'll be able to contact you. I think it's a great program. I wish it was around when I was 21 through 28. Not that I can't do the 29 plus, but it's a great program. I've seen a lot of, I was going to say students. I've seen a lot of people who have taken the program and they have nothing but great things to say. So if you're out there and you want to apply, now's the time. Get out there, get on the website. And if you have any questions, obviously Gabi could answer them for you.
I look forward to meeting you, even if you're not going this year, or if you can't go this year, feel free to call me in that case as well, to chat about other things we have going on. We have fundraisers going on during the year. We have different programs going on during the year. We try to attend festivals throughout the country, to spread the word, which is, one of the hardest jobs, which is why I appreciate this podcast. One of the hardest jobs is getting the word out there, to let people know that we exist. So do spread the word.
Absolutely. And that's what we're here for. And I have heard people around the country say that, I've heard of Reconnect Hungary. I saw them at a festival. And so the last point I wanted to bring up before we end is that there is an alumni responsibility at the end of the trip. So can you tell the listeners a little bit about that? Because that could also lend to, the volunteering at a festival. So tell us what that alumni responsibility is.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of those things. So we have a lot. It's what you like to do, really. We try to connect you with either your local organization, or now, in this globalized world, we have one of our alumni working on a film about Transylvania with us, because that's what she does. She is an editor, involved in the film world, or just going to your local Hungarian festival, if you have one, to put out Reconnect information, or you want to volunteer for a summer camp, just anything regarding Hungarian anything.
It's really about giving back to the Hungarian community when you come home, sharing your experience and just volunteering in those communities, and or not, maybe not physically volunteering, like you said. It could be you had a participant making a film. It's the contribution that you're giving back to.
Exactly. Sky's the limit. And of course, we're open to new ideas, something that we haven't done before.
Oh, good.
And in addition to the volunteering concept, we have a lot of our, about 10 right now of our alum are back in Hungary, either studying for a master's program, for an undergraduate program. Some are working and teaching there as we speak. So we have a lot of different versions of giving back.
Absolutely. And I feel like the program not only reconnects people to their heritage and to their families, but it also opens up new connections with friendships and opportunities, like hey, maybe I could study abroad in Hungary, or something such as that. But thank you so much for being here on the podcast today and giving us the quick rundown of the Reconnect Hungary Birthright Program, and that if you're interested in applying, you should do so quickly. Get your application in. You won't regret it. My last episode, Stephen Delina said to himself, why not me? And that's what I'm saying to all of you. Why not you? Put your application in. I don't think you will regret it. Thanks so much, Gabi. I appreciate that you're here today.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks for listening to this Kicsi Pod episode with Gabi Vajtay from Reconnect Hungary. If you are interested in applying for this summer's Reconnect Hungary Birthright trip, there is still time. Just log on to the Reconnect website and start your application today. You can find more information in the show notes about how to get in touch with Reconnect Hungary or me at the podcast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to stay Hungarian Heritage Strong. Sziastok!